this tutorial in CyberLink PowerDirector, I'd like to show you how you can calculate the distance between two different points in your project by using markers, and then you don't have to do the math to figure out what is the length of time. This comes as a request of one of my subscribers who wanted to put a piece of music in, but he had to calculate the time he needed from one point to another in his project without doing the math or getting out a piece of paper. Let me show you a way to do that. And then in the end, I'm going to show you some bonus tips on using markers in general. So let's assume I have these 4 clips, and for some reason I want to find 2 different places where I want a piece of music to start and stop, and I need to calculate how long should the music piece be. So I'm going to use a marker to do that. I can use either a marker on the clip or a marker on the timeline. Let's use a timeline marker to start with. So I'm going to move my playhead here, and then to have a timeline marker set, I want to make sure no clips are selected. There's no bounding box around the clip. I press the M key on the keyboard, and it will create a marker on the timeline. And let's assume the other point in my project where I want to have something happen is over here. So I'll click on this and press the M key again, and I have a start point and a stop point. I could have my start point on a clip as well if I wanted, so all I need to do is highlight any of the clips. Let's take this one, and then if I move my playhead and I press the M key, it will give me a clip marker rather than a timeline marker. But when it comes to the snap to line for each of the markers, it doesn't matter whether it's on the clip or whether it's on the timeline itself. But let's assume for the sake of argument that we want to calculate the time between this marker and this marker. How do I do that? Let me show you a very simple way to do that. I'm going to go to my title room, and I'll take any title, it doesn't matter which one, drag it down and do the snap to, so it snaps to my left marker, and then I'll drag over here so it snaps to my right marker, and I'll go trim only. And then all I have to do is, with my title highlighted, I click on my clock above the timelines, and it tells me I am 59 seconds and 14 frames. So that's all I need to do, and I can delete this when I'm done. It's calculated the time between this point and this point in my project. Now, as a bonus, let me show you a couple things about markers, because sometimes I find myself putting them where I don't want them. To create a marker, you press the M key. Now, let's assume I'm over here in this clip, and I want to set a marker. Okay, I want to set a marker on the timeline, and I press M, and oops, I set it on the clip instead of on the timeline. To remove a marker, you simply use the Shift M key, and it makes it go away. Now I want to set it at that same point, but on the timeline, I press the page down key on the keyboard. It switches to my timeline mode. Now I press the M key, and it's on the timeline, not on the clip. If I want to reverse that, I can do Shift M to take it off the timeline, simply highlight the clip and do M, and it's back on there. So that's a way to shift between a marker on the timeline and a marker on your clip. So I'm going to take that away with Shift M. Now if I want to remove all the markers in the timeline, I'm going to press the page down key so I'm in timeline mode. Then all I need to do is do Control Shift M, and all the timeline markers will go away. Likewise in the clip. If I'm in a clip and I'm going to set some more markers inside a single clip, I'll set several here. If I want to make them all go away, I do Control Shift M, they all disappear. So that's an easy way to do that. Let me show you something else about markers that you might find helpful. I'm just going to set several over here randomly. Okay, if I want to move between markers, all I need to do is use the Shift key and the right or left arrow. I'll hold the Shift key, hit the right arrow, it will go to that marker. Now it goes to this other marker. Notice these are clip markers. It really doesn't matter, and it will move. Let me set some timeline markers by hitting page down, and we'll hit a few others here. M. Okay, let's see what happens if we want to move between markers, whether they're clip or otherwise. Hold the Shift key down, do the right arrow. It doesn't matter whether clip markers or timeline markers. And Shift left arrow obviously goes the other direction. I do Control Shift M to remove all the timeline markers, and I go into each clip, Control Shift M, and removing all the clip markers. So that's a little bit about the initial question we had regarding how to calculate the time between one point and another in your entire project by using markers in the title, and a little bit about markers.